Hey everyone, Ridge6 here again at Orbituary Station. I know that there have been a lot of problems with the ability to quantum jump to your own ship, and there's even an issue council's report about this, where once you're out and maybe you log out and log back in, you lose the ability to quantum jump back to your ship in space. I've experienced the same bug recently. However, when I was looking on the Issues Council report this morning, I found a comment by somebody by the name of Glassmore, who said that he had been out salvaging with the Polaris and Vulture, bedlogged, logged back in, and was no longer able to jump to his Polaris. So he found a workaround, however, where he was able to store the Polaris, retrieve it from a hangar, and it worked again. So I decided I want to give this a try. I want to see if this workaround that Glassmore is reporting actually works. It worked for him twice. I want to see if I can get it to work as well, because this could be a decent workaround. It's obviously not a perfect solution, but it is something that could work for us, while hopefully CIG fixes this, that when you log out at the end of a play session and bedlog and then log back in, you can just kind of pick up where you left off. So I went ahead, pulled my C2 out, unloaded some gear or vehicles that were there from a previous adventure, and then loaded it back up with new supplies. I did recently obtain a Golem because I want to try this Golem C2 pairing. Alright, there we go. Pods, Golem, and a Pisces. Alright, I want to go over by Pyro 5. I really like mining around Pyro 5, and that would be a good place to have a mobile base in space for this. So I'm going to jump over there. The problem is there's no nearby refineries, which is why I like the idea of having the Golem in a C2, where I can just zip back and forth with the C2 with pods. I've been asked why not just jump back and forth to the refinery with the Prospector, and honestly that's what I've always done. That's what we've all always done. And it works great in places like Stanton, where you can mine at Daymar and Selin, places like that, and then jump quickly to a refinery nearby like Crew L1. But when you're mining in Pyro, the refineries are a little further away, and there's really not a great refinery next to Pyro 5, and so this option of being able to fill up pods in your ship with something small like the Golem is very attractive.
Quantum travel complete.
Alright, I think I'm going to just stay there for now, because I don't anticipate I'm going to be staying here. Alright, let's go ahead and verify first that it is working. How this is supposed to work with this new update is I should be able to unload the Golem now, move away from the C2, and then quantum jump back to the C2 here in dead space. It worked for me the other day, a few hours after the patch dropped. I did a video about that and was very excited. However, since then, I've noticed that if you bedlog and log back in, you lose the ability, just like others have noticed. So first of all, let's go ahead and unload the Golem and move several kilometers away from the C2 and verify that it is actually working right now. Alright, there we go. We're ways away from the C2 now. Let's see if it gives us the option of jumping to it. There we go. It says route, and yeah, it appears to be working. So this is what it looks like when it works. And so I would highly recommend that if you are doing this option of having a larger ship in space and having a smaller ship, something like the Prospector or the Golem or the Vulture, where you're jumping back to a big ship, I highly recommend some caution here with when you leave your big ship, turn around, make sure that it gives you this option to jump back before you actually go very far away from it and lose the ability to come back to it. So before you lose it on radar or visual line of sight, make sure that it's actually working. Many pilots have lost their big ships due to this bug. Man, the Golem is just a perfect fit with the C2. I hope this works because I really want to be doing a lot of mining like this with this little C2. It's a pretty cool little ship. I'm really used to the Prospector and the Helix 1 laser, and I like being able to adjust things, more customization possibilities with the Prospector, but you know what? For ease of having the ship inside the C2, the Golem is a great, fun solution for this. And I like the paint I have on it. Alright, so now let's bedlog. So if we log out here, the problem that we have been encountering is when you are in deep space in your big ship, whether you're using it for mining or for salvaging or just as your own personal base out in space, the problem we've been experiencing is when you actually go to bedlog like this and you want to log back in and pick up where you left off, that's when it seems like you lose the ability to quantum jump even though it was working before. So looks like I was on an Australia server. I'm going to switch to an EU server, which should force me into a different shard as well. And let's see if I do in fact lose the ability to jump back to this C2. I did lose the ability to do this yesterday when I first tried with the Golem. Alright, that was a fairly long loading screen, so I'm probably going to trim that just a little bit. Back in the C2. New server, new shard. Let's go ahead and test this out. And first of all, want to verify that all the ships, like the Pisces and the Golem and equipment, are all actually here. And they are, so that's good. If you have like a Prospector or a Vulture parked outside of your larger ship, like I did in a previous play session, and you log into a different session, a different shard, your ship outside of the C2 or larger ship is not going to be there. That's one reason that I did decide to go ahead and get the Golem, is because I wanted to make sure that it stayed with me when I did bedlog. Alright, move away from the ship again and see if it lets me jump back to the C2. This really is a cool little ship. Admittedly, I did not like it at first when it first came out. I thought it was not great. I'm used to the Prospector and the Mole, but it's definitely growing on me, and I'm sure that I'll come to love it because I do like Drake. Alright, 20 clicks out. Let's see if we can jump to the C2 now. Ah, Invalid target. So I can see it on the map, but I cannot jump to it. Invalid target. Let me click around and see if I can find the Pisces there. Nah. Okay, invalid target. This is what the Issues Council report is about, because this effectively means you cannot do something like a personal base, whether you're mining, salvaging, or just wanting to live on your own out in your big capital ship. So that's an issue. Gonna load back up. And we're gonna try out Glassmore's solution here. See if it works for me like it worked for him, because this could be a workaround, albeit a slightly inconvenient one. So let's jump back to Obituary. Well, as I was jumping back here to Obituary, I realized I probably could have just gone to a station closer to Pyro 5, like Gaslight or something, and stored my ship there. But we'll try it with home station of Obituary. I do think if it works at Obituary, it should work any other spot where you can store your ship and then retrieve it. So home sweet home. Alright, going down the elevator. I do think they've improved the elevator in the C2. It was kind of glitchy and weird, but I mean, it works better now. Alright. Oh, look at this. Is my Polaris, salvaged Polaris captain's chair that I got as a reward for the Hunt the Polaris missions. So now it just lives right there in my home hangar. Go ahead and store the C2 with everything on board. I did not remove anything, so the Pisces, Golem, ore pods, 2SU container full of gear are still there on the C2. All I did was land and store it. Maybe I'll go refill my nutrition and health in my other C8R. Alright. Retrieve the C2 now. Alright, let's go to the lower deck first and verify that everything that was on the C2 when I stored it is still here. It's supposed to be, it should be, and it looks like it is. So there is the C8R. Is the Golem there? I think so. Yep, it's there. Okay. Head up to the top deck. And then I'm going to jump back over to Pyro 5 area, and we'll see if we have regained the function. All right, stopped a little short of Pyro 5. Let's go ahead and drop the ramp and get the golem out. See if this possible workaround from Glassmore worked. All right, there we go, 14, 15 kilometers away. Let's go see if we can jump back to the C2 again. Hey, route. It works. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a doable workaround to the idea. Yep, it worked. This is a doable workaround. So if you are having the same issue, consider storing your ship when you come back in after a bedlog, and it does seem to restore your ability to jump back to your ship. A little inconvenient, but it works. Hey, well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this workaround can help you too, like it's going to help me. But please subscribe, follow along. It's free to you to subscribe, but it really helps me out. But anyways, for me, I'm going to get back to mining with the C2 and Golem. Thanks for watching and hope to see you here again.